So in the last class, we were talking about the concept of rebase, right? Rebase is a kind of merge, right? It is also a kind of merge functionality wise. It does the same what merge does, but the difference is rewrite can help you. Rebase can help you rewrite your log history as per the timestamp. It can help you see the log history in a linear fashion, like first initial commits, then child commits. This kind of log history can be seen through rebase, which is not possible through merge. Whenever you merge, a new commit ID or else commit ID will be added into the destination branch as a topmost or the latest commit, right? So, but rebase will help you to have a linear log history. It avoids unnecessary merge commit IDs coming into the destination branch. That's what rebase does, and this is confined for local branches. That's what we have learned. Right, then later we have learned about there is also something called git pull rebase, right? Git pull with the rebase so that it avoids the merge commits, right? It avoids merge commits, it avoids additional commits, right? So that the code can be cleaner. I mean, the log history, particularly the commit history, can be clean and neat. These two things we have seen yesterday. Also, we have seen many other things like connecting the local repository to remote, right? Git push, pull, fetch, clone. These are all the things we have discussed yesterday. Yep. How to connect the local repository to remote using Git remote add origin, and whenever you do clone, origin will be connected to the particular repo. All of these things we have studied yesterday, the differences between pull, fetch, and all. And also, like whenever we are pulling the changes, always like whenever you want to push changes, always you have to make a pull, right? Pull before you push the changes means you need to get the latest copy before you push your changes to remote. This is what you have to follow, and you need to maintain this. Then whenever you are pulling the changes, yeah, we get an additional commit ID when you push back. Like whenever merge is happening, an additional commit ID is being merged. So we have seen pull with rebase. These are the things we have studied yesterday. Right? Any questions in this part? All right. So now let's proceed and look into the next scenario where there might be a conflict, right? Let me check the status here, what is happening. Git status. So here it says it's on the branch main, and okay. So yeah, we are having some couple of changes, some 9 commits and all fine. Let's do one thing. Let us create some file here. Okay. So assume that someone else pushed some changes. I'm creating some file here. File8.txt. New file on remote. Yesterday we have seen like making some changes on remote and then on local and then pulling those changes, like updating it, right? We have seen a merge, but we didn't see the conflict. We did not get conflict yesterday. But today I'm going to create file8.txt local. Okay, so the process, like first add the file, add the changes, and then commit the changes. Okay, done. So I'm done with my changes. I want to push my changes to remote. So what is the command to push the changes? Yeah, by now you might have done some hands-on. You are well versed with this. So how to move, how to push our changes to remote.
Push
Git push
origin
remote
Push origin.
That's all.
origin.
Git push origin,
main.
the branch. So will it push successfully? What it will tell? See, firstly, get the updates. First, do a pull before you push. Make sure you are having the latest copy. In simple terms, it's a latest copy, or else like the updates on remote, right? In layman terms, let's have a latest copy. Download a fresh copy, right? So get the code. See, your updates were rejected because remote contains some work that you do not have locally, right? So get the changes by git push origin master. Get the changes.
Git the git pull or git pull.
Sorry, git pull. First pull the changes, get the updates. So what happens now if I do this git pull?
It would be
Will it pull
main,
successfully?
main na git pull origin main.
Yes, main. Correct. Yeah. What happens now?
I think conflict will occur.
It has to pull the updates and let's see what happens now. Could not resolve. Okay, some network issue. So it has pulled, but then it was saying auto merging failed. Auto merging on this file 8 failed, merge conflicts. Automatic merge failed, so you have to fix the conflicts and then commit the result, right? The concept is same. Why you get the conflict? Can someone help me understand why we got this conflict? Why are we seeing this conflict? This is the changes from the current branch. These are the changes from remote branch. Why are we getting this conflict?
The same na, which was happened with the local system, local repository.
Yeah,
Here
the
also,
same.
yeah.
Source missing some commit that
Yes,
destination
here source in the sense, here what is the source? From where are we getting the changes?
from
From
remote repository.
Remote branch. Okay, remote branch is the source here. So source is missing some commits which are there on the destination. Here, this is the destination. Uh, like we were trying to get the changes into our local, this destination is missing some commits which we made it on the remote branch, right? So hence there is a conflict. So the concept of why you are getting conflict is same. How to resolve it is same. How to resolve it, you use either only incoming or current. It depends on you how you want it to be. Okay, let's say I will choose this, whatever, undecided. But the only difference is you will discuss this, like whether to go with the current change or incoming change or both or compare, like what you want to do. You will sit with the person with whom you got the conflict and decide how to edit this file. Earlier, it was within your local repository, so you are the decision maker. But here, you have to sit with the person with whom you get the conflict. Even in a development team, developers will sit together. If it's a DevOps or changes, whatever it is, the team, the persons who got the changes will sit, discuss, and decide what changes to keep, what changes to ignore, or else they want to keep something else. So they will decide and resolve the conflict. That's the only difference. So how do you know with whom I got the conflict? That's where log comes in. Right here, you can see with which person you get the conflict. This is my local, right? Your name, I did not configure it. That's why it's showing. You can configure your name. Otherwise, say these are the changes from remote, right? The username, the email ID, you can see. That's how you know with whom you're getting this conflict, right? So now, like let's say I have discussed with the person, I would choose this. And once you made the changes, same old story. Because I made some changes, let's say add and commit, or I can do it in a single line. Git commit add and git commit add and the message flag. Let's say conflicts, whatever. So done, right? It is clean. All my changes were done, right? Now I have pulled and resolved the changes. Now I can do a push. Git push origin main. So before I push, if I see here the commit history in this repository, right, I have got 10 commits. Now I would like to push these changes. Right, I have pushed the changes. Now let's see how many commits might be there. See, 12 commits, obviously. One because of the merge, right? The merge has got conflict, whatever it is, because of the merge and the actual commit. Got it, everyone. So additional commit ID. But whatever it is, this is the scenario of conflict. How to avoid this additional commits, that's a later we'll see. Understood the scenario of conflict? How you get a conflict on remote and how do you resolve it? Everyone clear with this part?
Pretty one thing. On the GitHub, you did not make any commits, right? You just committed on local repository.
Initially, this one was made on remote.
Okay.
File 8, this particular line, I have made the commit on remote.
Yes.
Then we got some changes. We made some commits on local. Then we tried to push. So it asked me to pull. This is what we did. This one. This one is created directly on the remote.
Yes, correct. So you pushed the change that commits from Git bash, right? Not
Local.
from here.
Local
Okay.
repository.
Okay.
It could be Git bash or it could be command prompt, whatever it is, from our local, basically,
Yeah,
from local repository.
Okay. Can you show me that command again? The one which you
Which
pushed?
one? This one? Git push.
No, before that, the commit you had said. Yeah,
Same Git
430,
pull, Git push, Git commit.
go 435.
So this is the scenario with conflicts and that's how we resolved it. Let's repeat the same scenario of conflict and resolving the conflict, but this time we'll try to avoid this additional commits. Okay, listen carefully. If still any confusions in the old scenario, I'm repeating the same scenario again, right? See,
Yeah,
listen
sure.
carefully now. Now, okay, on remote, I'm creating some file, like assume some other member have pushed these changes. Okay, file 9.txt. Okay, some person or someone made some changes. If you see, okay, let me show you the repository. See, 13 commits, only one commit because I just created for this is the commit, actual original commit on remote. Okay, now,
Wait. Now you created a file 9 and then you clicked on commit button. So it is committed on remote repository.
yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm going to local repository. Okay, maybe I need the same file here, file 9.txt.
So
Okay,
when you said like you created a file on the remote and on the GitHub and committed, so was that commit from a other user like who has did it on his local and pushed it to remote?
it could be here. Here also this would be registered with this email ID, my username and email ID. Similarly, it might be some other user who is having his local repository, he might be pushing his changes. It will be registered with his GitHub username and password.
Got
Here the commits will be shown, like who made the changes and all. So that might be pushed by someone else. See here, my username Preeti pushed these changes. Like that, someone else. This is my GitHub user ID, not just simply name. This is my user ID. Similarly, some person might have pushed from his local to this, and it will be registered with his name. Clear, everyone? Yeah. Now, yeah, I don't know about this file, or else I know, but I'm not bothered. I still need this file. I created it. Okay. Git add. It's stuck up. Okay. So git add, git commit -m file 9 changes on local. Right, this is the commit I am making on my local. Okay, done. I'm done with my changes. I want to push, so I'll do git push origin main. So what happens now? What will be the message I would see now?
Okay, so first of all, file 9 on local repository, you have made a commit, and file 9 on remote repository also you had made a commit. So on both the repositories, the commit is done, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now you are
have the updated you have to pull the from
It
the
will ask us to always, whenever you are pushing, it will ask us to do a pull. We have to get the update. So whenever we do git push, it will ask me to get the latest copy. Means get the updates from remote which are not there in your local. So what I'll do git pull. So I'll get the updates. But if I do this kind of pull, what happens if I do this pull? Additional commit ID will be added because I'm pulling them. We are getting an additional commit ID. So what I would do is, rather than pulling normally, I would like to do the pull with pull origin with -r. Yesterday also we have seen this pull with the rebase, right? Of course, you get a conflict now. Yesterday we did not see conflict when you do git pull. Either you do with pull or pull -r, you get the conflict. See, automatic merge fail, conflict, resolve the conflicts. Okay, first resolve the conflict. So this is how it is, and resolve the conflict. Accept both the changes. Okay, so when you resolve the conflict, what you do? We have to add and commit, right? So here also you can do, you need not commit here. First, let's add the changes, whatever changes we did. Let's add it. See, it was clearly telling you git rebase continue to continue the pull with rebase. Right now, you can run this. You can just see the status as well. Git status. Right, it will give you clue what to do. See here, you are currently rebasing, continue it. Yeah, git rebase continue. That's all. Some message, right? It is also a merge. It was asking for some message. Let's say resolving conflict. Resolving conflicts on file 9. And then save the file. Right? Successfully rebased and updated. Right? That's all. Now you try to push git push origin main. Git push, but before that, let's see here how many commits we have. 13 commits, only one additional commit because this one, not additional commit, actually the actual commit, right? So file 9 we made, that's the commit we have. See, this is related to file 9. Okay, it was
can I
good.
show can you show me the content of file 9 on remote? It should be only one, yeah, yet another on remote. Okay, when you push it, then that change from the local, it will be published over here.
Yeah, let's do a push. Right, all the changes were pushed. Now, first thing is we were checking the commit. See, there were no additional commit IDs, like 15 commit IDs were not created. And if you see here, this is the actual commit which happened on remote. And only this one, because you want to push the changes which were there on local, that's it. Right? Also, now that you pushed, you decided to have both the changes, like both of them you can see in the content of file 9. Clear with the concept of rebase? I mean, conflicts and pull with rebase. These are interesting and advanced concepts, I can say. There might be a confusion in the initial go. Only thing is practice, that's all. No other shortcut, no other way. You can understand, you have to understand here, then practices to gain expertise, to gain more confidence on this. To avoid confusions, only thing is do it again and again. Understand it properly. That's all you have to do. You have to do it any number of times so that all these confusions, all the you will get more clarity, all the blurriness can be eliminated through hands-on. Any questions?
Can you explain that that rebase once again, rebase part?
Rebase, pull with rebase will avoid
Yes,
the
yes.
additional commit IDs. Like if you
Okay.
are doing a merge, what is happening? It was creating an additional commit ID, and when you are pushing, that was pushed as a like two commits are happening initially, the initial commit and the merge commit. If you just do git pull, right? Yes, it will pull.
Mhm.
Actually, you are having a commit, and because when you are pulling and merging, there will be another commit ID added. So when you are pushing,
Okay.
these two will be pushed as two separate commits, right? That's what's
Mhm.
happening when you do normal push and pull. But here you are doing pull with rebase. So when you pull with rebase, it will not create a separate commit ID just because you are pulling, right? So that when you push as well, it will not push two separate commit IDs, one commit ID with your changes on local. So that's the difference
Okay.
between pull
Okay. Okay.
and pull rebase.
Yeah, yeah.
Try
So
analyze
additional,
it from your end.
yeah. So additional commit ID which was generated with merge, it will be removed, and only one ID, one commit ID will be there.
It will not be removed, but it will not be created at all. Additional commit ID will
Okay.
not be generated when you do with the pull rebase.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Clear.
So that is about the pull rebase and normal pull. Like I said, do the hands-on, right? Go through it again and again so that it would be more clear for you. Coming to
So
the remote repositories, this
this
is
this is an advanced command in the latest version of Git, or it is available for other. It is
advanced concept is not related to version. The advanced concept in Git, that's all, not specific to the versions. You have it in older versions also. So this is your GitHub. GitHub is a remote repository, right? Like whether you go for Bitbucket or anything, GitHub, Bitbucket or so famous, both are similar, right? If you know GitHub, you can very easily work on Bitbucket and vice versa. Only the things, the terms might be different, that's all, like I mentioned yesterday as well. So it would be the same. Now, let me show you few options on the remote as well. Like you can do everything here, like deleting branches, even create the branches and all. Like I told you, some best practices to be followed, right? Like whenever you are making any changes, let's suppose code is here, I want to make some changes. You will never make changes directly on any branch, be it a development branch or a branch on staging, whatever it is. You don't make the changes directly on the branch. Rather, you create a branch from it. Like, see, first you pull the code, then create a branch from it. Okay, like from main, you create a branch called B1 or feature, whatever, and you make changes here, then push that branch to remote. That way you can do, or else here itself also you can create. See, find or create a branch. You can create a branch. Like let's say I'll create a branch called B1 from main. It was showing you. If you want, you can create a branch from main, right? So now you can pull, that is also fine. See, B1 branch, you got it. Generally, this is how we do. Means you may create locally and push to remote, whatever it is, whether you create here itself, then pull locally, however you do. The concept is you don't directly make changes on the actual branches. Rather, you create a separate branch. Now make the changes here. Again, change from locally, then push it there, whatever, however you want. Okay, let's say I would like to add. We don't do directly do here. We generally pull local, then make changes, then push it. But because it's a simple change, I'm making here itself. Right? You pull locally, then make changes, push here. Okay? Because it was small change I'm making here. Okay, I made some changes. Now if I want to merge to this master, how do you do that? You don't again.
Pretty one thing. Now you have created a branch B1 and then you have made one change on the file 9 and then you commit it. So now that commit ID, that commit numbers would be, I mean, same for B1 and main.
How will be the commit ID of B1 will be the same as main. They were two separate branches. That's a basic initial concept we were learning, right? Were
Yes,
you available in the previous sessions?
yes, I was. But see,
So
now here I
definitely
can,
whenever you made a commit on a particular branch, it will not be available on the original or the actual branch. That's very obvious, right? So
yeah,
here a
it is
commit
tot
is made.
okay. The total number it is showing as 15. So
Hmm.
that's why I was just,
This was on main, it was only 14. I made
okay.
commit on B1, so it will show obviously as 15.
Yeah. So here, when you selected B1, it shouldn't show one commit over here instead of
Why?
15.
One commit, only one commit it should show. Is that the concept of branching?
Yes.
Is that the
So he,
concept of branching? When you make a branch from main, then what is the purpose of creating a branch from main branch? I would suggest you to please go through the first concept, day one concepts of branching, where we have learned what branching will do. When you create a branch, it will create a copy from the parent branch. Here I created a branch from main branch. So
mhm.
B1 will get all the commits, all the changes from main branch. That's a concept of branch. This we have discussed on the day one of branching, 3 days back, I think.
Yeah.
So when you create a branch B1, you get all the commits, all the files from master. So that's the old concept. We have already learned it. Let's not get into that part. Here, my intention is to show you something else. So I made a branch here. Now you want to merge it to B1, merge it to the main branch. You will not merge it directly. Okay, rather you can raise a pull request. That's called pull request or PRs at real time, which is very important. That's how you merge pull requests or simply PR, right? Or merge request. You may call it as pull request or merge request. Means what is this request? See, again, when you are merging, you cannot merge it directly. Everyone will not have rights, or you should not do it directly. What happens? You should raise a PR. Okay, if you want to merge, you can raise a PR, and the team, your manager or the senior lead, whoever is a concerned person, will review it. Okay, then only you can push. See here, pull request, right? You have to raise a pull request, new pull request. They will review, then only it will be merged. It's not that you directly go and merge it, right? So what you want to merge? Choose different branches or forks. Here you can choose which branch you want to merge. I want to merge from B1 to main branch. There's nothing to compare. It was comparing the changes. New pull request. Compare the changes across the branches. B1 now, and then compare and review just about anything. I want to merge from B1. B1 to main. Switching the base. B1 is up to date with all the commits from main. Okay, base branch is main. It was showing this way. Base is main, and this should be B1. Okay, this was a different way. In Bitbucket, it would be like first, whichever branch you are pushing, B1 to main arrow would be showing it. But here it was showing base branch. Base branch means the destination branch, which one you want, B1. So it was clearly showing you then what changes you have added, right? See here, these are the lines it was considering. Now you could raise a pull request. See here, create a pull request, right? You can give some message like I have made this on for node changes or whatever it is, for server changes, something like that. Create a pull request, right? So the reviewer, the person, you can also add the reviewers. Okay, here because I am just doing myself, you are not seeing it. Otherwise, you can also see an option to add the reviewers. Who should review, right? See, require approval from specific reviewers before merging. You can add a rule like who should review, right? See, branch name pattern, which branch require a pull request before merging. You can mandate it. Means no one else can do a merge without this rule. So you can choose all these options. I'm not creating any rule for now. Okay, I'm not adding any rule. So this branch has no conflicts with the base. It doesn't have any conflicts because I have permissions. I'm the only one who did it. I'm seeing the option to merge pull request. But everyone will not see this option. Only the person, only the reviewer who have got the permissions will see it. Then they can merge the request. See, it was showing again a commit merging. Right? Pull request successfully merged and closed. PR is closed. Now, if you just go to your code and on the main branch, if you see, yes, the last line is also there. It got merged. Understood, everyone? What you have to do, you need not do the changes on the UI. You do the changes here, then push to B1. For merging B1 to main, you can raise this PR. Am I making sense? The code changes of the files you don't need to make on the UI. Okay, you don't make these code changes on the UI directly, like go to B1 branch, like go to file line. Don't edit the files. Of course, small changes you can do, but general practices they will do from their local, then they'll push to remote. Okay, once the changes were pushed to remote, PR can be raised on the GitHub this way. And then merge after review. The whole thing is your changes should be reviewed always. It's not that you push your changes whatever you like. Either it's a development project or it's a DevOps project. There'll be leads and senior persons who will review your changes and they will merge it. Right? There'll be a review process as well. Peer review will be there, and then again reviews, like if you are in IT, you know all that, right? Review, peer reviews, and then the final review before you make any changes to anything. The same goes here as well. It also provides you an option with this PRs. Clear? Anything, any questions there?
Preeti, this is after we push the changes, we raise the merge request, or
Correct. After we push, you develop in your local. Okay, in local, you might have created your B1 branch. It might not be present on remote. You develop it locally, push to remote, then raise a PR. That's what I'm saying. You did not directly make a branch here. Or else, if you want, you can also do like I have shown.
But once we push, it is final, right? Again, what is this?
You are pushing into B1. See, your B1 branch changes, you are pushing into B1 on remote.
Right. Yes. We are not supposed to push to other. Yeah.
Also, we'll not disturb any branches. We'll raise a PR, that's all.
Yes.
When there is a release time, or else when they want to deploy this new feature, then they will review and they will accept. They will accept that full request.
Yes, it's merged to the develop branch or master, whatever.
whatever, depending on wherever they want to deploy the feature.
And this is kind of peer review, or it's a whole
It's
review?
a final
whatever-
review. Peer
Right.
review means just your colleague can review it, your code, that's all. But PRs will be approved by the official, whoever is your lead, whoever is the manager, they will. Generally, leads will do. It will not go to managers. Your lead will do.
Right. Right. So all requests should go to that admin person.
Lead.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Actually, in projects, you will not have options to merge it. You have to raise PR only. They will set the settings that way. I have shown you rules, right? So
Right.
whenever repository is created, repository will be set with the rules so that no one can do direct commits. Direct
Yeah.
commits in the sense direct merges.
Yes.
So only certain people will have permissions for those PRs. So
Yeah.
you have to create a PR, send him the PR.
And any changes
Correct,
or
Aditya.
corrections?
In
Yes.
GitHub, when you raise a PR, you will have an option to select the reviewers. How many reviewers also rules will be set. Like some
Yes.
for all the repositories in my project, in my company, there'll be a rule set like minimum 2 reviewers. Okay, let's say we are pushing some DevOps changes. Okay, also developers has to know that we are making this server change. So a development lead, DevOps lead. 2 persons will be added as reviewers. Unless both of them accept it, it can't be merged. Both of them have to approve. Then only merge option comes. To them also. Let's say 2 persons are reviewers. I have approved it, but the other person did not approve. I can't merge. He should also approve. Then both of us will see merge. Anyone can merge it.
Okay.
So these are the few options we have, like a pull request on GitHub. And then we have something like another option called forking. Okay, like suppose there might be so many open source projects available on GitHub. Let me show you. See here, you can search here. So many open source projects. Search all GitHub. See, search all. Let's say I want to search for some projects related to PHP or whatever. See, search all GitHub. It comes in here. I want to search the entire GitHub. Right? There were so many, means what I mean to say is there were so many good open source projects. Sometimes we may have to use it and may develop over it, right? Like take the base from the open source project and develop above it. Particularly developers might be doing it, right? There might be some libraries or some base open source official projects which you can take and develop above it. So for such projects, what we can do, if you want to like take that and then develop above it, it could be any project, right? So suppose here there is some project. I would like to take this as a base and develop it. Like you can fork it. Do you see a fork option? So what this fork does, fork your own copy of PHP, that particular repository it was saying. Fork it. When you fork it, what happens? It will be added into your GitHub account as your own account. Okay, I have some forked repositories. Let me show you. It will be added into your GitHub account. If you fork, it will also show you that this was a forked repository. See here, there is some MediaWiki application or some PHP application. So this was forked from MediaWiki. That's the original user and the one who created. That's official open source repository of some PHP application. Okay, so I have forked it. Once I forked it, see it got added to my account. I can make now any changes to it. I can develop and I can make it or develop about the original one as per my requirement or else my design. The changes I make here will not be visible to the original one. Right? From here on, I can develop my own project. So that's another option you have, forking. It's like another repository added onto your GitHub account. Now that it was added here, I can just clone it, again get a local repository from it, and I can develop it, push back, again work like a normal repository. Right? Those are the few options. So we have like forking. It again works like a normal remote repository. You clone it, create a local, make changes, push, pull, merge, and everything else would be the same. Right? There were so many branches. That's another option called forking.
And the history will continue to the forked repository as well.
Yeah, everything. See,
Yeah.
you are forking means you are getting the complete copy.
Right.
All the commits, all the changes, you get everything. Let me show you again. See here, commit, see how many commits it has got. Right? You get all the changes, everything, whichever there on the original. If you don't want all of this, you can delete them, or if you want, you can create your own branch, whatever you want. That's just another option we have. We don't generally fork it, but any open source projects are there. You want to refer it, or if you want to work about that, that's an option called forking.
So then onwards, it will be a separate repository, or in future, even we can
It will
do.
be a separate repository in our account. It will be a separate repository in our GitHub, means in our remote repositories.
So, like in future, if you want to put some changes into the uh, main repository, which it was forked, is that also possible?
That will not be possible because that's a public repository owned by someone else. There you can't push the changes. Public repositories means you can clone, you can fork, you can get a copy from there, make changes, but you
No,
can't push to the original, right?
not
Even you
the,
can't push to this also.
no,
My also.
not about the public. In the organization, we suppose we developed one application for the US, and then again on top of it we forked for the Canada. And then so maybe some changes, some requirements are very good to have in US as well in future. So same code can be added
You
to
can if you have permissions. It depends, right? This is a forked one. I
Right.
have permissions on this. I can do anything here. This original one, I don't have permissions. If I have permissions, I can also push and do any changes here. I don't have permissions on this original one to make any changes. So it depends. You have forked from some repository. If the forked original repository you have permissions, you can do that. But in general, we will fork something like this, like when you have a open source projects, we fork into our account. In real time, like already a project is there, rather than forking it, you can clone it also, right? You can, if you're having permissions, you will clone it first, make changes and all. There's no point of forking there if it is in your account, if you are having permissions, isn't it?
Right.
We generally fork it for repositories, open source, public repositories where we don't have permissions.
Right.
If I already have permissions, I would clone it, make changes there, and push back.
Right. Yeah. This is an option whether for it or not.
So this is all about Git and GitHub. Git and GitHub, in the sense, it's not completed. We have learned Git and GitHub from the perspective of managing our files, from the perspective of collaborating with the team. But how to integrate it in the CI/CD pipelines, isn't it? How to put it in the CI/CD, correct? So, like, where comes the scenario? Now, let me tell you that scenario. Let's say there is a development project. Okay, let's take up this itself. Okay, this one. Okay, there's a PHP project. Developers have made some change. Whenever developer made a change, I want a pipeline to be started immediately. How does the pipeline know, okay, developer made this change? That's where GitHub webhooks comes in, or PolSCM comes in. So we will learn all those things. Okay, I'm giving you a big picture. So whenever, let's say, developer made his change, it will trigger the pipeline through webhooks. We have to create those webhooks. So webhook will trigger will inform the pipeline, okay, there was a change. Then pipeline will pull the code, build it. What is meant by building the code? Compile and package, whatever, right? If the build is required, some code, some project doesn't require build, like Python and all. So whatever it is, if required, it will pull the code, build it, containerize it, deploy on a Docker container, and then deploy on your Kubernetes cluster. Right? This is the pipeline I need. So till we did not learn Docker or anything yet, we just learn GitHub. So it should, whenever some changes there, I want the pipeline to be triggered. For that, you need to know Jenkins, because in Jenkins, you will add these GitHub webhooks, right? So we need to learn Jenkins now. Then we can integrate these GitHub webhooks in Jenkins and continue the pipeline, right? So that's where this actually GitHub comes in, or Git comes in from the CI/CD perspective. But yeah, developers are using it. They are doing commits. When they say, okay, we have done commit, you need to know what is commit, what is pull, what is push. Not only that, I'm going to have my own repositories as a DevOps person. Let me show you as we come to this part. I would just like to show you other repositories related to Kubernetes Terraform, which we would be creating as we progress. Okay, this is a Java Maven application which we'll be building our pipeline on. But here, let me show you our Kubernetes files, Kubernetes integration with CI/CD, right? Some Kubernetes manifest file. It's not just code, it's a template, you can say. Okay, which will tell you how your app should be deployed. It will be quite simple. See the image name, the port number, just you have to mention all those information. That's it. Right, the format will be available in the official page of Kubernetes, whatever it is. My idea is to show you, yes, we will be having our own manifest files like this, our own Terraform config files to create the cluster or to spin up the EC2 instances. Till now, we are creating EC2 instance manually, right? Once Terraform comes in, see here the Terraform one, it will create the instance for us. See here the variables where you have to pass the information to create an instance like t2.micro and so on, right? So yeah, how do you manage it? Even I want to store them on GitHub. I want to version control them, right? This is how I manage all my files. The Terraform config file, see AP South one, you are telling the region, the VPC. We will learn all of that. Don't worry. Okay, it's quite simple, very simple to add these lines. So anyhow, that's why we have learned Git thoroughly now from the perspective of managing the files. Now I want to integrate and use it in CI/CD pipeline, means I need to know the next tool, Jenkins. In Jenkins, we will integrate GitHub webhooks. So we need to learn Jenkins. But before we learn Jenkins, from Jenkins on, we shall do our setup on Linux systems. So we have to get started with Linux. So we will have to start with Linux now. How to set up our Linux lab, how to set up the Linux server. You don't need to install Linux or do anything. We will use an EC2 instance again, like how to do it and all, we will learn that. So that is for the next session. We shall start with the Linux on Monday. But now, if you have any other further questions, anything else, you can ask me related to Git or anything. And also, I would like to share the quiz for today. But before that, yes, any questions? Understood the reason for learning Git? First, understood why we are learning Git thoroughly and where do you use it, Git?
Yes.
Priti, is GitHub open source or else we need to pay any license for it?
It was an open source to certain extent for paid accounts. I mean, for private repositories, if you want more private repositories or more restrictions, you can also have a paid account.
Private repositories in the sense?
This is a public repository, right? Everyone can download.
Yeah,
Here
yeah,
you
okay.
are seeing public. Whenever you create a repository, you can create a private repository where only few people can access it.
So in all
When
the
you
projects,
say
I
new,
hope.
here you will see private. You choose who can send and commit to the repository for private.
So in all the projects, I hope only the private repositories will be used.
Sorry?
In all the companies, real-time project, only the private repositories should be used, right?
Obviously, yeah, it's not that everyone can see their code, right? Their changes. They'll have private, correct.
So we need to pay the license for it.
Not for private. Private you can create, but if you need some more, like there were a few things you want to maintain, you have to make a certain changes. To certain extent, up to certain extent, it's free. GitHub is free, but Bitbucket is paid. Bitbucket is not free for private repositories.
And also, if you want any support from GitHub, is there any separate support portal for GitHub or else?
No, community support only.
Okay, being a business. Okay.
We can replace GitHub with GitLab in future, right? Because we know, and we now, okay, we understand basic for correct, Aditya. GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab, everything will be same. Absolutely same. Just the UI may be a bit little different, like to visualize it, it may be a bit different, but almost everything will be same. Here how you have PR, there also there will be PRs. Here we have webhooks. There also you will have webhooks. We will learn webhooks when we start creating the pipeline. Well, we start learn Jenkins, then we create the pipeline. Because pipelines will be managed by Jenkins. We will learn Jenkins, then integrate Git. Then go to Docker, learn Docker, come back to Jenkins and integrate Git. That's how we'll keep on integrating each tool in the Jenkins. See, this is where we have webhooks. Okay, how to do this webhooks, what role we'll learn them. It is not yet completed. Okay, GitHub is done in the sense, okay, it's not completely done. We will be doing it throughout the course. Okay, we'll be keep on adding webhooks and many other things as we progress. As per the requirement, we will do all those things. Meanwhile, you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm also sending the quiz for today. Okay, please go through it. This is very important to check your understanding, to evaluate your understanding so that any further questions you have, you can reach out. Just let me share it. Got it? I have shared it in the Zoom chat. Also, previous quiz, some of you are saying there is a question. Can you also please go through it? These are also available on the website as well. I believe you all might have got access to those quiz portals and everything. So you can also take up from there later as well. Like once you go through the recordings, do the hands-on, take up those again so that you can make sure that you understood all the concepts.